On domestic commodities market, we're looking at yam. Ahead of the new yam festival, there seems to be some spike in the price of new yam. Well, let's get a sense of what is driving the price hike. Neka Okolo, a research analyst with financial derivatives company, will tell us. Hello, Neka. Well, in recent times, the price of yam has spiked by about 186%. Now, is this price increase a natural rise in prices ahead of the New Yam Festival, or is it part of the general panic buying due to the initial lockdown?
Well, food inflation is generally above 15% now as the price of food staples continue to increase due to panic demand and limited supply of these items. Also, we've seen consumer preference shift from imported goods due to high import-dependent commodities and imported foods are more expensive due to high importation costs. We've seen their preference shift from imported goods to domestic goods like yam. So therefore, although historically the price of yam is known to increase in the first half of the year due to the fact that it has cultural value. What we've seen, the price movement, as we've seen so far, is mostly as a result of market uncertainty rather than the usual natural factors.
Okay, Nigeria is the world's second largest producer of roots and tubers, including yams, with a total output of about 170 million metric tons. Yet, Nigeria is struggling to make its impact felt in the global export markets for yam tubers. Ghana, of course, is believed to be producing and exporting on average 8 million tons of the commodity annually. So why this anomaly between yam production and exports, and what can be done to correct it?
Well, first of all, it has to do with the orientation of the system. For example, Ghana is export-oriented, while Nigeria, on the other hand, our agricultural system is more focused on self-sufficiency. In this case, that's why we see that although we have higher levels of production, we are still yet not an official exporter of yam. Another thing that could have led to this anomaly is quality. We've made several attempts in the past to export yam. However, the quality of our product at the arrival point is poor due to poor storage facilities. So when we are psychologically prepared to begin yam exportation, we also need to make sure that there are adequate storage facilities in place to ensure that the yam produce is properly stored from while it awaits shipment, during transit, and thereafter, in order to preserve the quality of the produce, of the exported product.
Yeah, if you will recall, the Nigerian Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, had commissioned a 200,000 capacity yam storage facility under the FGN National MSME Shared Facility Scheme. Now, the aim is to reduce post-harvest losses due to poor storage. Will this development help in the attainment of the goal of Nigeria becoming a net exporter of this commodity?
Well, the commissioning of this facility in Benue State, which actually accounts for 70% of Nigeria's yam output, it's quite a positive. It appears to be a good step in the right direction towards achieving our goal of becoming a net exporter of yam. However, taking into consideration what I said earlier about storage being a previous challenge that we faced in our previous attempt towards yam exportation, we could then assume that constructing such facilities close to the ports would be more significant to ensuring that more significant towards achieving our goal of becoming a net yam exporter.
All right. Thank you very much, Neka, for your time. And environmentalists and recyclers are battling a rising tide of electronic waste, some of which contains toxic materials. The country generates hundreds of thousands of tons of electronic waste annually, the bulk of which is imported as used electronics. The amount is growing, driven by a rapid population growth and a higher turnover of appliances than in wealthier countries. Let's watch this.
Several shipping containers arrive in Nigeria every day, most filled with non-tested second-hand electronic appliances that are often dead on arrival. Most of these appliances are discarded fridges, desktop monitors, CD players, air conditioners shipped in from Europe, with no guarantee for both the importers and buyers ever using them, yet they continue to bring them in. It's a rainy day in Lagos, and Chikodiri Michael has just offloaded a container full of such electronic appliances. His warehouse is full of ready buyers and scavengers who will either buy these off him or take away the numerous appliances that are obviously not ever going to be used.
Apart from the exchange rates, and the exchange is too high, most of the goods we bring, we cannot even sell them, and most of them are waste. So it's excess loose this time around.
A report published in June 2020 by the UN's Global E-Waste Monitor says global e-waste has surged up by 21% in just 5 years, with a record of 53.6 million metric tons of electronic waste generated worldwide in 2019. The new report also predicts global e-waste will reach 74 metric tons by 2030, almost a doubling of e-waste in just 16 years. This makes e-waste the world's fastest-growing domestic waste stream, fueled mainly by higher consumption rates of electric and electronic equipment, short life cycles, and a few options for repair. Some recyclers and environmentalists are now pushing against these imports and enlightening the masses and scavengers on the toxicity levels and impacts of not properly disposing of these appliances.
From the start of this country, we haven't had really any answer for the electronic waste that we produce. Talk less of the electronic waste that gets dumped on us from outside, because we are importers of electronic goods. We're supposed to be refurbishable, but they turn out, the majority of them turn out to be dead, turn out to be e-waste that needs to be sent back abroad to be refined.
It is common in Nigeria to see stores selling worn-out second-hand appliances, commonly referred to as tokumbo, a Yoruba word that means from abroad. Traders also often cut open these items, mostly looking out for gold and copper parts, oblivious of the fact that the mercury and lead found in e-waste could harm their health.
We're putting the profit above the people. We're putting gain above the common good. And it's not acceptable. There has to be fundamental changes. Hopefully this whole COVID issue will help us to become aware that, nature is a force that must be harmonized, that must even be cared for.
A 2018 United Nations-backed analysis of 60,000 metric tons of used electrical equipment imported into Nigeria, most of it from Europe, found that at least a quarter of it was not functioning, most of it refrigerators and air conditioners.
And that's a wrap on the program. Thank you for watching. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwago.